So to the subject of shrikes, and the particular shrikes we're looking at are the Isabelline shrikes. And huge thanks to Graham Catley for his amazing images that are in this book. And this is one of them, a young Dorian shrike. Isabellinus is the Latin name we use for this. There's two types reaching Britain, or three if you like. The Dorian, Isabellinus, and then the Turkestan, Phoenicuroides. But there's also a northern form of Turkestan, which is greyer, called Carolini. So potentially three types. I've been fortunate to see all three in Britain, all three reach northwest Europe. And let's dive in, look into the subject a little bit more. So this is one that I saw on my patch. This was on my patchwork challenge for those guys who like that kind of thing. Last year. I hope we get another one this year. And this is a juvenile bird. You can tell that by the little black little internal mascara lines here, and the crescent barring. Often young birds have more crescent barring all over here. Adult females, you'll see in a minute, have a different pattern. This one's a slightly darker, but still a young Dorian. It actually had kind of lots of peachiness here and along here, and the overall tone just wasn't dark enough really for Turkestan shrike. Here's an even easier Dorian, very pale, the pale ear coverts, and the pale gingery tone all over. Another Graham Catley shot. Here's that same bird turned around. Often Dorians, young Dorians, tend to have quite plain looking orangey tails and an orangey tone to the internal marks. Again, this kind of juvenile patterning there. And another young Dorian. Hope you're getting the feel, especially these three areas here. Supercilium, below the ear coverts, along the flanks. Lots of whatever tone you want to call that. Buffy, gingery. A nice sort of gingery tail. Not much marking in the rump. All good for Dorian. This is a Dorian I saw in Shetland. You need to read the story about this one. I arrived with Ian Lewington to look at it. And it was an obvious first winter Dorian. I hope you agree. But some of the photos posted make it look so different. And that's the problem with shrikes like these. You've got to see them in the right light, and you've not got to trust all the photos in case they get light or kind of messing with the photo after has kind of affected its appearance. That's a lovely first winter Dorian shrike. There's that same bird again. And Jim Nicholson has been fantastic. He's provided a number of our photos for this. Now here's these are taken in the Middle East, and Oscar Campbell and Jem Babington have been fantastic providing photographs. I suspect these are both young Dorian, but I'm not entirely sure, and I'm a bit nervous to over-proclaim, but I think this bird's just a slightly darker young Dorian, but maybe we can discuss that one. Here's an adult female Dorian. Now you see on the adults, they don't have those little black mascara lines. They have this very plain pattern with a broad palish fringe. No black in the lores, and a little bit of barring underneath makes that an adult female. And all this lovely rich colour here makes it, that's part of what makes it a Dorian. Here's another adult female Dorian, photographed by Brian Small, who's been a major team player in this in the chapter in the book. And this one we watched together on Shetland, where he took this photograph, I think. And here's an adult male Dorian. They tend, adult male Dorians, to have less black than the Turkestan shrikes, which tend to have a really good solid black mask, and so do the Carolini types. And again, see the buffy tones here within supercilium, and the kind of an orangey looking tail. And ouch! That hurt! Hey, anybody rings shrikes? Sheesh, if you don't wear gloves, you must be rock hard. But again, this looks like it's probably an adult male, I think it is. Look at the lovely tones, though, between the upper parts and the very richly coloured underparts. Fantastic. Adult male Dorian shrike. There's one perched up for you. And again, you can see the supercilia, the dark mass. The black mass is quite weak and thin, and there's lots of colour going on underneath. And then, wow! Adult male Turkestan shrike. White, white, white. Lots of white contrasting with this kind of muddy brown upper parts. Big white supercilium and much thicker looking black mask very often. And there's another one, same sort of thing, white underneath, muddy brown above, white supercilium, big thick mask right over the bill. So how does that translate? Well, the young Phoenicuroides, the young Turkestan, which are rarer for us in Britain, there's those mascara lines again, greyish above, earthy tones, not the gingery tones, and the tail tends to be less orange and more brown. There's more crescent marking, and the underparts tend to be a little bit whiter. So here's a lovely bird caught 7 minutes drive up the road from where I'm doing this. This is a first winter Turkestan shrike. And again, compared to the earlier Dorians, notice the earthy brown colours, the white in the super, the whiteness that's under here, the white that's in the markings in the coverts. And the tail is not so orangey, it's a browner tone. There's more kind of markings here. These are all the little tips labelled up for you there of a first winter Turkestan. And again, it's all in detail, condensed detail in the book. There you go, there's his nice white underparts. Rarer, a real kind of, still a really rare bird to find. One worth pursuing. And then finally, let's end on the Carolini, the northern Turkestan. And one of the best birding stories, which you can read about a little bit in the book. These seem to be all Carolini. I need to check with Brian Small, who took them. And thanks to the Natural History Museum at Tring. But you see they're grey. This is almost very grey upper parts and the browner tails. And if you flip them over, you'd see a nice black mask and so on. And here's Andy Stoddard's notebook, which you can pause and read if you like, of the bird that tells the story of me seeing one of these adult male Carolinis in a bush with an American redstart. And there's Graham Catley's lovely images to end. One of my all-time great birding moments. I hope you have some with an Isabeline shrike or two in coming autumns.